we had to power through and still keep our trust in each other. And I thought the guys did well with that. I thought Spags had a nice game plan for them, and that showed up really with the shutout in the second half there. It really showed up. And so, and then offensively, the turnovers hurt us in the first half, and the guys kind of worked through that, and we got it straightened out for the second half, and we did some better things. I mean, came close to 500 yards there, total offense, and Pat ended up having worked through some of the problems early, and then ended up having a pretty good game there. So that worked out well. The offensive line did the same thing. Receivers did the same thing, and the tight ends likewise. And the one injury was Jody. He does have a torn Achilles, so that I was sad to see that happen. But I thought there's a time and a place where you've got to be able to do what we did yesterday, and I thought the guys did a good job with it. Anyways, with that, time, George.
First to Pete Sweeney. Go, Pete.
Brad, I'll just have a quick follow-up. Coach, I know we're not going to get anything injury-wise stemming from the game, but Kyle Long's a name we haven't said in a while. Finally eligible to come off the PUP. I was wondering if you had an update there, if you might open the practice window this week.
Yeah, so I normally meet with Rick here this afternoon, so I'll know more about all of that once we get to that point, Pete. But right now, I don't have anything for you.
And then Mike Remmers, I just was wondering, upon your look, how did he perform? Do you feel yesterday?
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. He was solid in there, and I thought he really held his own. That defensive line, I had a lot of respect for it. I mean, there are a lot of first round picks on that defensive line, and they can rev it up and play pretty good. And I've seen it when we were looking at tape, you could see it, and then when we were out there, you could see their speed and athletic ability. So I thought our guys did a pretty good job with that. Mike was, I thought for his first outing, I thought he did a real nice job.
Let's go next to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
Brad, I'll have a follow-up. Coach, I know you don't like to discuss what, maybe some of the private conversations are, but maybe you can give us a little window into maybe the tone or tenor of what Patrick said to you going in at the half. At the cameras caught you guys kind of talking, and it seemed like he came over to you and said something. I know it had been kind of a bumpy first half. Can you share anything of what the conversation was?
Yeah, I mean, he just said, "Hey, listen, we're gonna get it right," and it really wasn't that long of a conversation. He said, "We'll get it right."
Okay, and then his interception, right? Like, I mean, it's pretty simple to say you can't do that, right? I understand.
Yeah.
Is that though, kind of an example? Was this, listen, you're 3-3. I don't want to say rock bottom. That doesn't seem like an appropriate term for a team that's, where you guys are. But was that kind of like, hey, just maybe that was the pinnacle of the frustration, or maybe him trying to push and do too much, and now maybe it's out of his system and you move forward?
Yeah, I think I'd say you're accurate just on doing too much there. I don't know if the whole other thing resonated in there, but he was trying to make something happen, and there was a fumbled snap. He picks it up, and now it's one of those deals. Kels kind of flashed there for a second, so I would put it in that category.
Let's go next to Blair Kirchhoff. Go, Blair.
Hey, and you said last week that you were hoping to get Jody Fortson some more, or no, I'm sorry, Josh more snaps. Just wondering what happened there.
Yeah, it didn't work out that way, but we'll keep bringing him along. I think he's just starting to get comfortable with this whole thing. We had him in for a couple few plays. I don't know what it totaled out, but he was, he'll be fine. We just keep working through everything.
Let's go next to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Brad, and I'll have a quick follow-up with this one as well, but I'm listening through some of the sound last week, Andy, and you talked about offensively, you guys are one of the best in the history of the league on scoring per possession, and we kind of saw that in Washington. You spoke to that, the kind of 500 yards. Do you feel like The turnovers, however, are kind of a fatal flaw, maybe where opponents see that, or maybe guys in your own locker room kind of feel that, you just can't sustain that amount of turnovers.
Yeah, so two separate things, but yeah, I think those are fatal flaws. They kill drives, obviously, if you're not on the end of recovering a fumble. And then I tell you, at times, I mentioned this last week, at times guys will press and try to do too much. And then you do that, and that's a problem. If you're concentrating on not doing the fumbling part as opposed to practicing it all week and making it a habit of covering the ball in traffic or making the right throws, or all the things that have kind of with looking the ball all the way into the tuck, all those things. If you don't make those a habit and you're concentrating them on game day, then there's a problem. That can be a problem. So we just go back and we try to focus in on the positive part of catching the football and those fundamental things.
And it's been really fun to see Mike Dana kind of ball out and make a good rise for y'all. What have you seen from him, and what has impressed you in the first 6 weeks here?
Yeah, he's done some good things. It was good to see him punch that ball out yesterday, and he's a real smart kid and plays hard and aggressive. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he sure plays hard and is very smart.
Let's go next to Matt Derrick. Good, Matt.
Hey, Coach, you had another good day yesterday on offense on third down. You guys have been going along about 60% a clip better for a while now. What is it about this team that does the makeup of this team that makes them so formidable on third downs?
Yeah, well, we are doing a good job with that. And I would tell you the execution has been good. We've been able to keep, for the most part, our third downs in a reasonably manageable position. And that helps, whether it's, the first, second down calls, plays, the guys making plays on those downs. And, and then that always helps. Normally your percentage go up. And then I think the coach has done a nice job with that. Mike Kafka, EB, these guys work on that like crazy. So, I think they've done a nice job there too.
Last two, we'll go Todd and then Matt. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Coach, a couple quick ones here. Just generally speaking, do you guys track what is called an interceptable pass? And if you do that, is that something you guys do in-house? Because it would seem to me like Patrick threw an interception yesterday that wouldn't have been an interceptable pass, right? The one that hit Tyreek in the hands. Do you guys track those things, and how do you do it? What's your data to get that done with? And I have a little follow-up.
What's our data? We just evaluate every play. So, we give them a grade on every play. So if it's a catchable ball, then we expect you to catch it. And if it's a bad throw, then we expect you to throw it the right way the next time. But we grade all of that. Keep that on hand.
That's not something that that's an ambiguous kind of a stat, though, right? What an interceptable pass is, I guess. What one would consider would be interceptable to someone else. I'm just trying to find what the gray area is there, because it seems to me like sometimes it's just unlucky, like a pass like that to Tyreek. That shouldn't have been an interception, but it was.
Yeah, we've had a couple of those. So, we've got to do better on those. But no, we keep track of that. Yeah, as coaches, we keep track of that. Absolutely.
We'll last to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach. So you mentioned last week how you looked forward to both sides of the ball playing well at the same time. Well, you got that in the second half. It was true complementary football. How encouraging was that? And how can you guys build on that moving forward?
Yeah, so I mentioned that yesterday, just that we need to build on it, and we will. And then special teams, I also thought did a good job there. So, which also becomes important. But listen, if you can get the offense and defense playing well, then you see what you got to see that second half. And it's important that we keep growing there, and that we do eliminate the turnovers, and we create turnovers, and all of those things that you're supposed to do to win football games. And and then have a solid special teams unit. So but that's what we're striving for. And I know our guys are hungry to do that. And so we'll keep working at it.